Madam Minister, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. First of all, let me read out to you the addressing remarks by Dmitry Medvedev, the President of the Russian Federation. I welcome you to the forum organized by the Konosha Eurasia Foundation and by the International Economic Forum of St. Petersburg. Your forum has come to the fore as a most distinguished venue for discussion, analysis of topical issues, and of the political and social life. There's a large representation of diplomatic academicians, businessmen. The subject on your agenda include the future development of the relationship between Italy and Russia, the possibility to start an interaction between the Eurasian Economic Union and the European Union. Let me highlight that the historically good and the relationship between Italy and Russia are very close to our heart. Indeed, our countries have been cooperating over the years in many different fields: energy, industry, high-tech, transports and tourism, amongst the others. The further development of the bilateral synergy is perfectly in line with the interests of both Russia and Italy. The new possibilities for cooperation are now been created thanks to the institution of the Eurasian Economic Forum, including Belarus, Kazakhstan, Russia, Armenia, and Kyrgyzstan. We are very willing to start dialogue with other institutions, including also the European Union. I firmly believe that your forum is going to gain international attention and is going to focus multilateral cooperation within the Eurasiatic area. I wish all delegates and guests fruitful discussions and a fruitful meeting. I wish you all the best. Signed by the head of the government of the Russian Federation, Dmitry Anatolyevich Medvedev. On my personal behalf, let me also address you briefly on industrial cooperation between Italy and Russia. Italy is to us one of the main partners in the European continent. There are some 400 companies that are active in Russia, and the volume of investments exceeds $3.3 billion. And despite certain constraints that we are experiencing at the moment, our countries have wide possibilities to strengthen partnership and cooperation in the long term, which is certainly going to be beneficial to us both. Among the different areas, there are a number that are most interesting, all high-tech industries. This is further confirmed by the heads of our government when they regularly meet. In different industries, there are already major projects underway. Let me highlight, for example, the cooperation for the Sukhoi Superjet 100, which has been developed jointly by Alina Maki. I cannot but mention also the Augusta Westland and Vertolotte Russi Russian helicopters. For the helicopter 139, and in the future near Moscow there's an assembly being organized for an Augusta Westermark 149. The cooperation of Pirelli and Rostec has retrofitted the tires industry in Russia so as to arrive at a volume of over 10 million tires on a yearly basis. Now, considering the reduction in the car industry in Russia, well, Pirelli has been reorienting itself considering the possibility to orient its production to the foreign markets, including Western Europe, and over 60% of its production is now being manufactured for export. In the Kaluga region, the Berlin Chemie has opened a new pharmaceutical company and is still developing a second production line. As far as the steelmaking industry, well, in Russia we cooperate with technology equipment manufacturers such as Danieli and Etnova. And despite sanctions against Russia, our country worldwide is becoming ever more attractive for the production of leading companies worldwide. So opening up new plants in Russia is much more cost-effective in Russia than in other developed countries, because the costs are lower in our country, and we have a lot of raw material and labor available as well. The Russian government has adopted a number of measures to create a favorable environment to investors. There are a number of industrial areas being developed so as to have modern industrial infrastructures that are certainly very attractive. 72 industrial areas have already been developed, and by 2020 this figure is going to be threefold, or 3 times as much. A new law was adopted on industrial policy in Russia, giving further possibilities for investment development for the setting up of new production lines and the retrofitting of the existing ones. One of the most interesting mechanisms for investors is the ad hoc contract for investors. What is it? Well, it is an agreement, is a trilateral agreement which should be signed for a certain amount of time for a project to be developed, and it is signed by the national government, the region where the plant is to be developed, and the investor. The federal government, in its turn, shoulders one big responsibility, i.e. that of changing the rule of the game, so the business game, for the time when a certain project is underway. Whenever such document is agreed upon. I can quote an example. That is the investment agreement that we signed for the year 2009-2011 for the assembling of cars in Russia. At the time, we weren't members to the WHO. We became members in 2012, and we shoulder important responsibilities accessing the WTO in terms of reducing customs duties by 2018, and this could have threatened the agreement entered earlier on for investment. So we adopted a specific law whereby the government grants subsidies to investors from 2018 to 2020, because the agreement again should be completed by 2020. So in that lapse of time, the government again grants subsidies compensating the profits that wouldn't be earned between the same 2 years period, 2018-2020. The investment contract is then signed also by the region which, in compliance with the law on industrial policy, should grant tax allowances and other allowances, the ground, for example, on which the plant is built, and this doesn't go against the WTO. It is the investors that has to shoulder the responsibility, paying for the investment, developing the plant, including new technologies, thus developing new jobs in the high-tech part. What is very interesting is that investors are granted allowances when it comes to public tenders, and Russia, both the federation and the regions make a lot of opportunities available. So I'd like to refer to the fact also that Russia is an important outlet. We've created the Eurasian Economic Union with 5 independent countries granting free circulations of goods and capitals and services, manpower. There's a single customs set of rules, and we've started off already cooperating with a number of European countries. We believe that there are huge prospects in developing these cross-national associations where cooperation is going to be brought about in all innovative manufacturing fields. Just remind you that, let me remind you that in Moscow, our first meeting was held of industrial ministers of the BRICS countries. They met jointly with the Ministers for Industry of the Eurasian Economic Union. The objective of such a meeting is to strengthen synergy and to this end there's the possibility to reduce the number of barriers so as to make trade easier, to favor mutual investments and identify major projects to be further developed in the future. Well, such dialogue is going to be further developed within the International Economic Forum 2016, to be held, of course, in 2016 on a regular basis in July in Yekaterinburg. By the way, let me also invite you all now to be involved in this dialogue at the Forum Trade Fair, so as to debate about the potential for multilateral cooperation with the countries of the European Union. I would also like to invite the organizers to devote the next edition of this forum to industrial cooperation in the diverse industries. By the way, let me highlight once again that high-tech development is our common interest. We're going to move towards this aim in the at the fastest pace. Thank you very much for your kind attention.